All right, welcome to another episode of Medicine Mondays. I am yours truly, Dr. Bellard here, your favorite board-certified internist, host of Medicine Mondays, Real Physician Reacts, as well as our other YouTube channel, Dr. Bellard's Health Checks. And I know I say this every week. I know y'all tired of me saying this. We got a special guest, y'all. Like, I am 200 podcast episodes in, but when I need to get my mindset right to record another episode, to record another video, to jump onto, like, when I know I need to get my mindset right and it ain't all the way there, I go back to episode 118 when I first had this amazing man come on and just drop so many gems on the Lunch and Learn community, y'all. It's not hyperbole. I 100% suggest you go back. Obviously, it will be in the show notes. I 100% suggest you go right back and listen to 118 and then see why I am so hyped to get Dr. Brad on again. Dr. Brad, first of all, thank you again for blessing this Lunch and Learn community. And we talked a little bit before this. I typically have, but I'm just as excited to be able to just talk to you, right, and get the game from you than as much as you probably come on here.
Bro, first of all, we're about to replace, I told you this before we got started, we're about to replace 118 with, if this is going to be 201, whatever episode number this is, we're going to replace it. I admire you to the utmost, Dr. Berry. You and I are friends outside of, being on, podcasts and stuff like that. So I just like kicking it with you, man. So if I can kick it over however long we're about to kick it, I'm good. Yes. But in the process, you know where I'm at mentally right now, man. And for the folks who are listening, I need you to buckle up because we're about to get it in today.
Let's go. All right, Dr. Brad, tell them who is Dr. For, like, let's say maybe they just happened to stumble. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they're a new Lunch and Learn member and they just happen to stumble across this video or audio. Who is Dr. Brad? Like, let's, and obviously I will put his bio in the description, but like, it ain't gonna really do no justice me saying it. Cause like even then it's just yeah, he's great. But like, I need you kind of hear from his words, like who Dr. Brad is and why he's so amazing.
Yeah. So Brad Bellard, go by Dr. Brad. And I'm a mindset and performance coach for men. So what that means is I help professional men become highly effective in both work and life by prioritizing their faith and fulfillment. And so we'll break down kind of what that means. Outside of my speaking and coaching career, I'm also a sports medicine physician. And so I've got a practice here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where I practice non-surgical sports medicine, specializing primarily in regenerative medicine. Basically what that means is stuff like platelet-rich plasma and stem cell, and help active individuals remain active despite having joint pain, and trying to do that by keeping them away from the operation table. So,
and what I love, especially when people kind of turn into this episode, right? It's going to be succeed without sacrificing your faith and fulfillment. And I think for a lot of people, we would have thought that was one and the same, that you can be successful and have all these things. But in your mindset, and obviously people you work with, you pretty realize that that's really not the case.
Yeah. So, the reason why I ended up having a passion for this is because as a high achieving professional, I found myself very successful in what I did in my career, but it was coming at a great cost. It came at the cost of my faith. It came at the cost of almost my marriage, came at the cost of almost losing my family. And so I had this vision that, success at some point would equal, kind of having it all. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Bellard? I mean, like, I have the success, but I got the fulfillment, And that wasn't the case, man. I basically reached the top of the mountain, got to where I wanted to go, team doc for a professional sports team, for multiple sports team, extremely successful, had a lot of influence. And I'm at the top of the mountain and I'm looking over this thing. This is a mountain I'd always wanted to climb. And I'm looking at the mountain and the view isn't nearly what I thought it was going to be.
Ooh. How did you know? And I want to ask that, because obviously it's a dream, it's a goal. We all have this, right? We're little kids, we want to be a doctor, right? We're pre-med, we want to be a doctor. We're medical, so we want to be this type of doctor. how did you know that once you got to that mountaintop that you were actually still missing something, right? Because I think it's a very important for especially men, right? You know how we do, right? Yep. Like we're going to equate that mountaintop as all of these things. But what was it that made you feel like I got all these things, but like something ain't complete over here?
Well, I mean, it was just that. I mean, like I had more income than I had ever earned. I had the family. I was taking the trips. You know what I'm saying? Like, yet and still, I had the success, but there was this emptiness. I just wasn't fulfilled, bro. Like, and I knew part of it was because of poor decisions I was making. Shout out to a friend of mine, kind of a mentor, his name Dr. Johnny Parker. He talks about the front stage and the backstage. My front stage, which is what I would show everybody, it was amazing. It was the successful Dr. Brad, the awesome Dr. Brad. But backstage, bro, it was just a mess. And I remember thinking like, this can't go on like this, and nor this is not what I signed up for. And so I just remember thinking like, I've got to get in order, you know, because I just envisioned life being both simultaneously successful and fulfilled. And for me, I thought that if I achieved the success, it would therefore bring forth fulfillment. But what I saw was that that wasn't the case. I said so much of my life had been, once I do this, then I will be fulfilled. So it was like success had come first. And I was like, if I can succeed, then I'll be fulfilled. But what I found out through kind of trial and error and, you know, having the benefit of having some mentors is fulfillment is not a byproduct of success. If anything, fulfillment is a precursor to success.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Dr. Brad, you're talking right now, right? Because I got a follow-up question that's burning. Go ahead, Dr. Brad.
Yeah. So I mean, so basically what we do is we say, if I can do this thing, if I can achieve this thing, then I will therefore be fulfilled. Well, I can tell you right now, it'll be temporary, right? Until you got to achieve the next thing in order to be fulfilled. So now you become a slave to success. You become a slave to having to win, almost like an addiction to need the next hit in order to be fulfilled. Now, let's go the other way around. Like I said, so you become fulfilled. Well, imagine being happy, fulfilled, and content going into the thing. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of research that shows that people who go to work already fulfilled are actually more successful in what they do.
That makes sense. I could definitely say that.
Right. Because they're not dependent on what happens at work to be happy. They're already good coming into it. So I kind of tell people like, it's like having my cup full already going into work. Well, now I can fill the cups of others, which by the way, you succeed only to the level of how you serve others, to the quality and quantity with which you serve. That's it. Right. So if you serve more people and you serve them high quality, you bring value to the marketplace like that, it will reward you. So if you come in with an empty cup, you ain't gonna be in a place to really fill the cups of others and be good. Wow. So what I found is that if I can be full and not dependent on the success in order to be fulfilled, but come in fulfilled, man, I'll be massively more successful. And not only has that been true for my life, but it's been true for my clients.
So just because I'm listening to what you're saying. Are you saying like now looking back, even though you were at the proverbial mountaintop, you actually weren't successful because you weren't fulfilled?
Bingo. So it's hard for me everybody's got a different definition of success, right? If you look at Webster's dictionary, it's basically the accomplishment of a goal, but it's beyond that for me. You know, if somebody my definition of success is really kind of multifaceted. It's really winning in every area of life, right? What's the purpose of success if you're not fulfilled? I mean, you know, it's like the person who's extremely successful, but
they're Dr. Brad, you dropping green right here.
But they're empty, right? Like so what is that, right? One end of the spectrum, you got somebody who's successful, but life's empty. They don't have purpose. They don't, they're lacking that stuff. Well, that's not success. You know what I'm saying? When you can't sleep at night. You got the person who maybe they can sleep at night, but they haven't really pushed themselves to really optimize their full potential. So, it's got to be, it's a marriage of both success and fulfilled. And there's also what I believe each of us were designed to do well. We were designed with gifts and talents to be able to perform well, right? I mean, and this is just the truth. So if you were designed to be a great author, but instead you climbed the corporate ladder and became very successful in that, really you're just high achieving. I don't know if you were successful because you were designed to be an author, but I don't know if you really had the courage to follow the calling of what you were called and designed to do. Now check this out.
Yes, talk to him.
Hey. I feel like each of us were designed to be Michael Jordan-esque in something, right? Now, whether you now we ain't gonna get into whether you like whether somebody think LeBron is the GOAT or Jordan is the GOAT. But the point that I'm making is you were designed to be the GOAT in something with the gifts, with the talents, and everything, right? And so, to me, success is answering that call, having the courage to answer that call, pursuing it, and providing so much value to the marketplace in what you do in that space that now you're successful. And typically, if you do follow that, you will be fulfilled. There will be an element of fulfillment that comes from answering that call. But again, with what I coach is, we can't get to that point until we really start to prioritize our faith in the person who created the whole thing. So yeah.
And just because again, lunch learning community, I told you, again, like it probably sounds hyperbolous, but like the same type of hypeness that I'm getting now, that's all 118. And as you can see, we haven't even started. And Dr. Brad took it to that level quick, fast, in a hurry. So when you have a person who's looking at this and they're saying, hey, Dr. Brad, like, no offense, I don't want to go down the route you went, right? Like, I want to be successful, but I want to be fulfilled as well, right? Like, how do I do that, right? And you mentioned another thing that I definitely want to make, and that probably plays into this aspect of performance of the person who does good, right? But doesn't go to their max level and still have a void there. So I want to make sure we kind of touch on both points, right? But the first one is, so how do I succeed in my personal life, right? And still be fulfilled at the same time, right? Like how do I do that? So I can avoid the missteps.
Yeah. So let me just kind of go back to my story. So I've always had a hunger for how can I just optimize? How can I just, how can I win? How can I just, be the best me kind of thing? And honestly, I think everybody has a desire to want to express the best version of themselves. I really do. But I was just always this driven guy. Now, looking back, a lot of that was because I was really seeking validation, but we ain't gonna get into that. But I needed to win in order to be validated, but we ain't gonna get into that. So, but so when I got to this place where I was successful, but I was stuck. I was successful, but stuck and unfulfilled. In search of fulfillment, I stumbled across biblical principles. I'll just put it like that. I wasn't looking for the Bible to be, what I'm saying? Like that's not what I was doing, but I won't go through the whole story.
Avoiding it, but not necessarily looking for it at the same time.
Right. I was looking for the fulfillment and happened to stumble upon the Bible. Now, mind you, I grew up Christian my whole life. And, I could tell you probably on five, on one hand, how many times I missed service, right? But something was still missing. I didn't understand what was happening. Well, a good friend of mine, very successful, very fulfilled. We had a conversation. I said, hey, man, you're going to have to help me understand kind of what you and I are talking about right now is, being fulfilled. He said, well, man, we started breaking it down. He's like, the Bible's not a book of religion. He said, the Bible's really a book of how to be effective. Like, So we start breaking this thing down, and I saw that, look, whether you believe in God or not, I mean, that's not the point. The point I'm making is if you're trying to be effective, there are principles that are in this book that if you follow, there's a certain level of prediction that you can happen after it. And that's what got me interested. That's when I was like, okay, let me crack this thing open and start learning. Now, as I started understanding that, I started being able to understand how to be fulfilled, and that my fulfillment was independent of anything I did, right? Like my fulfillment was completely unattached and separated from any relationship I had, from anything that I did or did not do, and that I could walk into any environment with my cup full, good, being straight up good, right? Now, here's the cool part about that is that now when I look at my relationship with my wife, I can come to the table saying, hey, look, babe, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need you to do something for me. Not in a bad way, not like, oh, I don't need you, right? But I'm not dependent
upon that.
I'm not dependent upon you. If you had a bad day and I'm sitting here like, man, why ain't you gonna show me some love? And maybe she had a bad day and now I'm dependent on that and she not, now I'm upset. No, I can walk into any situation and be like, if it don't go the way I want to go, I'm really still good. So it became this really unbreakable power that I ended up realizing. And so because at the end of the day, man, there are going to be some circumstances that happen in life that we just can't help. Right. But how we respond to it is really what's going to be the difference maker. And so to answer your question is I started understanding fulfillment there by understanding the word of God. I mean, that was just it. And then when I saw just how much, once I applied the principles there, how effective things worked, I was like, wow, this stuff actually works, believe it or not. And so I started understanding fulfillment came first. That spilled over into success in the other areas of my life. And it came into a piece that I need other guys to experience. Like, I was so unfulfilled at one point, man. I mean, I didn't think there was even a way to get to a point to where I am now. But now it is a must that other people must experience this so that they can, we're all trying to be our best selves, man. Yeah. That's it. We all trying to be our best selves. However, a lot of people don't understand, like I didn't understand where to find that stuff. Now, my gift is just so happens to be that I can look at that information, extract it, and explain it in a way that somebody can understand very, very well and also apply it to their lives. And so that's what I did so that other people can seek fulfillment first and success second. It's really what I teach. So fulfillment first, success second. And when you put it in that order, it's you become unstoppable, really.
So how do one, right? And just to caveat before I ask my next question, I love, the aspect that you allow your faith to be a foundation, because especially in a time like this, faith isn't usually what's put on the table first. Yeah. Like a lot of us know, like, yeah, he's got some, yeah, we probably understand. Yeah, he's probably got some faith, but like, it's almost for some reason, it's almost taboo. I had Dr. Sherman on here. She's a relationship intimacy coach. Yeah. So her thing is about sex, right? And she says, like, sometimes getting people to even talk about the word sex is like timid, right? Yeah. So I'm almost sure once you start saying like, no, I lead by faith, right? Like that's going to get people like, is this Bible going to hit me? Like that's already going to get negative connotations. But I love the fact that not only do you stand so confidently in who you are, you stand so confidently in the fact that like my faith is the reason why like I'm here. Like and my faith is the reason why I'm grounded. Right. And it's the reason why, because I'm grounded, I can get to that peak mountaintop that I thought I was at, but I actually wasn't. So I love that you don't hold back on that. And I talked to a few of my colleagues and friends who want to get, in a different space, in a different manner, but they don't want to leave behind, their faith because they're very strongly rooted in it. But for some reason, they feel like they got to leave it behind.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm not sure if you run into that in the past where you felt like a person felt like they've had to leave it behind to get to that mountaintop.
man, that's all of us. Like that was me. I didn't think you could have both. I thought you had to choose one or the other. You got to choose faith and be poor. You got to choose faith, be poor, and you can't be successful, right? Or you choose success and it comes at a cost, right?
And usually when they say cost, it's like the faith thing. Like that faith thing gotta
go.
Right. Or just be in the back burner so that no one can't see like how strong and how proud I am of it.
Right. So understand, first of all, I make it clear, I'm not your pastor. I ain't trying to be your pastor, and nor am I teaching religion. Like a lot of people are like, oh man, like, they get scared when they hear Bible stuff like that. But if you hear what I'm saying, what I'm teaching is effectiveness. What I'm teaching is how to be highly effective. And all I can do is, look, through the grace of God, man, I get a lot done with the time that I have, right? I just get a lot done. And I found out how to do that through the Bible. Like, that's it. So if somebody is saying, well, how do you bake the cake? And I bake cakes really well. I'm not going to leave out I'm not going to leave out the flour. I can't do that. Right. So like, I'm going to have to tell you, all I'm doing, try to tell you is how to be effective. Because what happened in my life is really once I started understanding this, my life became extremely effective, both at work and outside of work. And oftentimes we talk about this, work and life or professional and personal. Let me make this clear. It's all integrated. You think because personal life ain't going well, okay, success. What I'm telling you is if personal is not going well, whether you understand it or not, it is affecting professional. You may not see it, right? But the reality is the cardiovascular system affects the immune system, and the immune system affects the musculoskeletal system. It's integrated, man. Yep. Don't think that because one area might be better than others that, it's blocked off. You know what I'm saying? Things are just not good outside of work, but that stuff is blocked up.
I can close that window and then.
Man, let me tell you, man, like, here's what's crazy. My relationship with my kids made me more effective. My relationship with my wife, getting that going, made me better in clinic, made me a better coach, right? So, all I teach is effectiveness. My recipe, now my recipe just so happens to be by prioritizing your faith. So I'm not coming here trying to browbeat you over the head with the Bible. All I'm trying to tell you is this: if you're trying to be effective, here is a way. And if you're not effective as you want to be and optimizing who you are and who you were designed to be, if you open to listen, you just might become extremely effective too. But you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to. This is a way. Now, I believe there are probably other ways, but I also believe that, I was telling my son the other day, I was like, knowledge is power. We were talking about principle. I said, knowledge is power. But I said, but really, truth is power. Truth is more powerful. A lot of knowledge out there. All I want is the truth. Yeah. I just want to know what really works.
Yes.
Right?
Let's go.
So, I'm just trying to help you. It really works. Now, whether you want to accept that or not that's not my goal. My goal is to help you be effective. And if you are open, some big things could potentially happen.
So that being said, let's talk about peak performance.
Yeah.
One, what does it mean to you? And how is it that you're able to take what it means to you and then be able to instill it with others?
Yeah. So for me, peak performance is, we look at every area of life, and I talk about 7 pillars, the 7 pillars of peak performance, which are different areas of our life. And for me, that's your faith, family, health, wealth, your career, your calling, and then your personal interests. So these are different kind of aspects in area of life. They're all kind of integrated, right? But for the sake of simplicity, there are these different areas of peak performance or different pillars. And peak performance is really having a game plan for each of those areas that are driven by the vision that you have, and having a plan, if you will, in life, so that the family gets done, that the faith gets done, that or the faith or spiritual life gets done, the health gets done. And, so many of us are we get overwhelmed, we get stressed so much. And it's like, certain, balls are getting dropped, we feel, and we're being inconsistent and so much going on. And how do you become consistent in each of these areas of life? Like, how do you do that? And performing at a high level in each of those areas, to me, is peak performance. But if you just want to break it down, it's you will perform at the level of how you think. That's just it. You can't outperform. You cannot outperform how you think. You just can't. You can't outperform how you think. Your mindset is going to control so much. It's like a thermostat. If the thermostat is set at 74, if it starts to get to 75, 76, it will knock you back down. You just cannot go beyond the level of how you think. So if you want to perform higher, the only way to increase the thermostat is to increase the mind. It's to increase the capacity of the mind. That is it. How many times have people, you may be listening to this, or maybe even you, Dr. Barry, myself included, like, how come I just can't get past this? How come I can't stay consistent? How come I can't just get past this thing? It's because there is a mindset that is not allowing you to get past it. It's just not, right? So we've got to have a personal development plan that will ensure that we continue to grow and that we can continue to move the thermostat up strategically in different areas of our life and perform at a high level in each of those areas. And I will just tell you, one of the ways to accelerate that. See, I'm not about just trying to incrementally, let me just get a little better here. I'm trying to make quantum leap.
Let's go.
I'm trying to make quantum leap in different areas of my life. Now, most people, that sounds good. That sounds real good. Like, yeah, man, I want to go from this place to that place. I want to go from my health here to here. I want to take my finances here to here. Let me tell you, one of the greatest things you do that is get help. Sometimes you got to pay for that.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes.
And it's so interesting because I think we've been so ingrained that, like, I need to be able to do this. I need to be able to do this. I need to be able to do this, that we keep running into our same mindset wall, not realizing that we actually need someone else to say, hey, hold on. Like, I got this for you. Like, let me move this out of the way first. Now you can go. So I love that you said it, because especially, and the reason why, especially, I'm about to ask, like, you work with men.
Yeah.
You already know how we do.
Yes.
Right. You already know how we think. You already know, unfortunately, how stubborn we can be, even acknowledging that what we're doing isn't enough.
Yes. Yes.
like even that, like, acknowledgement out loud is difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the fact that, like, that's your core audience, that's, salute to you.
Well, look, I know it all too well because I know how hard-headed I am. You know what I'm saying? So they probably relate to me because I'm full transparent. Like, bro, I'm a broken brother. But it just so happens to be that I've learned some principles that allow me to move past that, right? And we do want to do it all on our own, man. We want to be able to do it. But here's the deal. The reason why we keep running into a wall is because it's our same thoughts. It's the same. And we wonder why it's not working. Because we ain't done anything different. And we just keep doing the same thing. It's still us. As soon as we get to this point where it's like, you know what? All right, I give up. I surrender. I need some help, is when things really start to happen, because now you can get a different perspective. You can get accountability. You can get somebody encouraging. You can get somebody who's looking at the outside in, who's looking at the picture with you in the frame, as opposed to you trying to fix you in the frame. Like there's so much added value to that. We were talking about this before we got on. I told you, I said, you know what? I'm looking to take a certain area of my life to the next level, my business, my coaching. Well, I know the principles. First thing I did was not to say, how can I do it? The first thing I did was, who can help me?
Let's go. What are you talking about? Let's go.
Because I know that will accelerate results. Mm-hmm. I can figure it out over time, but something's going to have to change. Either I'm going to have to get some new knowledge somehow. I can go listen to podcasts. I can go take a course. I can go do this. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's a principle. I mean, to help everybody out here. Proximity to the influence equals the level of performance that you'll get from it. So I know if I get close to the person, to the coach, to the person who's actually delivering the information, the closer I get to them, the closer I'll get the results that they offer. Let me blow your mind even more.
Let's go.
Proximity to God equals peak performance.
Ooh, let's go.
So closer I get to him, right? But I'm going for help because I know it's not me, right? So I'm looking for an area. Hey, look, I'm looking to get in better shape. Question is not how, if you can't figure it out, because you've probably been trying to figure it out. But because you can't, you stuck. But the question is not how. The question is who has the results that I want, and let me talk to them. And when that happens, look, asking for help is a sign of wisdom. It's not weakness, man. It's not weakness. What people see.
Let's go.
What people see. I'm going to need to check this out, boy. Check this out, B. What people see from me is not me. But I'm made from the collective thought and influence of my fitness coach, of what will be my future business coach, of the past business coach that you and I both had, of spiritual influence on my life. I can't do this all by myself. Are you kidding me? Not supposed to.
Nope. And I love it because it's so, and I've said this before with the Lunch and Learn community, that like, I'm not talking to you today if my business coach doesn't take the veil of, like, you can't do this, or you shouldn't be doing this, or like, why are you the one who's going to do this? Like, if he doesn't remove that from me, right? Like, I don't have 200 plus podcast episodes. I don't have countless videos. I don't have none of that stuff, because I'm probably still in a clinic somewhere, right? Thinking that I can't do that. So it's so key. And I definitely want people to make sure they're listening, that to understand that, yes, you need to, if you want to get yourself to the next level, you have to invest in yourself. And by investing in yourself, that means you need someone to be invested in, right? Like, hey, I'm investing in you to say, I need you to take me to the next level. I know I'm not where I need to be, and I need some help. And I love that you said, no, it's not a sign of weakness, right? Like that, because that's such especially for us, especially men, right? I'm talking to the men, I know how y'all do, right? Like, y'all will go somewhere, won't ask for directions, right? Like, y'all will be lost in the sauce, won't ask for directions, like whether it be your health, whether it be spiritual, financial, mental, physical, like you won't ask for the directions, and you got plenty of Dr. Brads here willing to give it to you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you spitting game. And let me blow your mind here, and other people who listen, because my coaching programs are not, I guess, what some people would consider cheap, right? But here's what you got to understand, and here's why it's that way. It's because you're not investing in me. Okay, let me make this clear. I need to know if you feel that you are worth investing in. Because see, if you are worth investing in, we can get to moving, right? If you feel that you are worth that, we've already cleared a hurdle. Matter of fact, you ready to work with me. Like you ready at this point, because you have already said, I'm worth investing that in me. Like, I'm worth the investment, right? So understand, when you are purchasing something or getting education or trying to invest in something, you ain't investing in the thing. You are investing in you. And the question is, when you look at it, say, am I worth investing in that? Next level would be, particularly if you're a business owner, are my clients worth me investing this to be able to create more change and impact in them? How serious are we in terms of creating impact with what we're doing, right? So yeah, man, this stuff is it's for my clients. When I invest in my business coach, that's a personal investment for me. And I say, you know what?
That will benefit your clients down the line. That's right. Beautiful. That is. So let's talk about Dr. Brad, the coach, right? Let's talk about, the fact that you're working with men. Let's talk about your programs, right? Because obviously, again, this is, like I said, I mean, I'm already like you know me, right? The wheels are already turning like as we speak, right? I'm like, all right, yep, definitely could be doing better. Like you recognize it, right? But like sometimes you need to be around people who you see emitting a level of confidence and saying like, all right, like I like what this guy's doing over here, right? Like why am I not like fully there, right? And what do I need to do more importantly to get fully there, right? So let's talk about your coaching program. Let's talk about the leaps and bounds that you've been able to help take men to kind of that next level.
Yeah. So it's called the Elite Men Coaching, and it started out as a 3-month program, but it's going to be stretched out to a 6-month program. And there's a blueprint that we follow. And step 1 in that blueprint is strengthen your faith. And really what we're learning in that first step of the blueprint is how to prioritize fulfillment first. That's really where we are, right? The second step is master your mindset. And a lot of what blocks us from really being able to achieve is that we don't understand what our real identity is. So we start to really dive into who it is that we really are and we're designed and created to be, because I don't believe we tap into it's hard to tap into that with which you don't even understand who you are. So when you really come to understand just how powerful you are, just how you were originally designed, and you can come to understand that and believe that, the thermostat immediately increases. And this is when we can start to experience success in every aspect of life. This is when we can start to be more effective in every aspect of life. And then the third step is really peak performance habits, like some of the principles we're talking about today, right? Like, how do you find the right person to help you in an area of life? How do you develop some regularity and a morning routine that will consistently ensure that your mindset is growing and developing, right? So I help you establish routines and habits that will make sure that you continue to grow spiritually, personally, professionally, and that we can develop a system for you to just, all you got to, and here's what's cool about this. All you got to do is be consistent with one thing. If you can be consistent with that, it will therefore breed consistency in all other areas. Because most of us are just so overwhelmed.
But like, how difficult, especially in your history, have you found that to be in others, being consistent in like one thing?
Yeah, so we're trying to be consistent in 8 different things, right?
Okay.
But the question is this: the question is, it's like pushing over dominoes. It's like, what's the domino that I need to push over that will have the greatest effect downline? Most of us are looking at trying to push 12 dominoes over. No, I'm trying to find the one domino that's going to push them all over, right? I'm trying to find the one best next step, because I can keep things simple and follow one step. So we start to learn, like, what is the one best step? And here's what I know. Like I said, you cannot grow beyond the level of way you think. So we have to have a system with which to expand our way of thinking. So if you can consistently do that, the way you think affects every area of life: family, career, right? So if you evolve the way you think, it will affect everything. If you're consistent with that, then it will be consistent. It's the one domino that will have effects on everything else. So we learn what we really need to be consistent in there. We create a system around it. And then you start to experience, and now you can say, you know what, I don't need to focus on being so consistent in 12 different things. I need to focus on being consistent here, because if I can do this,
I love that.
I'll be good downline. I'm not smart, B. I'm not, like, right? And I've recognized that. I just I tried to do it so much on my own. I had to become open. So it's like, I got to keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep it simple. And I wish I could say that all this stuff is mine, but bro, like I said, I learned from the book how to be effective. So we learned habits in that third piece, and we start implementing those habits. And my goal is to equip people. I ain't trying to be nobody's guru. I'm trying to make sure that you get equipped so that once you're done working with me, you can go out and you can be equipped. You know, I don't want somebody to be like, have to keep coming back to me like, well, no. I want to get you equipped so that you know how to do it as you go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? I equipped you, like, you know how to fish now, right? We talk about, you know, like, now you know how to fish. I don't want you to depend on me fishing for you. I'm gonna teach you how to fish, and then you're good.
I love it. So I gotta ask, what has been the biggest or the most common domino that you've had to work against with the men that you worked with?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I have in my mind, I'm like, I wonder if like we all deal with it, and I'm probably speaking for myself, right? Like, like, am I speaking for myself or am I speaking for all men?
Well, I will say this. Oftentimes, by the time they get to me, they're pretty open. They're pretty open to what I have to share. And, you know, I think for a long time, I probably was, you know, just working with the wrong people. And I don't want to say that in a bad way that there are wrong people to work with, but there were people who just wasn't ready. I'll just put it that way. They just weren't ready. So I think probably one of the biggest barriers for most men is the willingness to get help. But by the time they do that and they get to me, we're really kind of past that. And my question is, are you willing to be held accountable? Are you willing to be open and apply these things? And by the time they're saying yes, well then, I mean, it's go time. But I think in general, for most of us, it's the willingness to allow somebody in. It's the willingness to allow somebody to hear the stuff. It's the willingness for people to feel like it's a safe space to be able to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna share with this brother like the stuff that nobody knows in terms of the fact that I don't show up like I need to, the fact that I am inconsistent, the fact that I this, that, and the other. So once they become open to that, and I try to foster that to create an environment that they hear me, bro, I'm you. I just happen to have a little more knowledge. But I think that's probably the greatest thing, is a willingness to open up and say, all right, man.
Yeah. I love it. No, again, and actually that's what I was thinking as well. I mean, especially just working, you know, with the men I do work with, right, or just you know, even young boys, right, like just getting us to accept that, like, yeah, like this is some of my backstage stuff here.
Ooh,
right?
yes,
like, this is like because especially now with social media and the pressures of social media. And by pressures, I mean a lot of us, right? A lot of us are getting the highlights for a lot of people, right? Especially men, right? We're getting the highlights for a lot of men out here. We're seeing the highlights. Yep. We're not necessarily seeing their lowlights. So we think we're the only ones who have the lowlights. We're like, right. Everybody out here balling, right? Everybody out here doing this, right? Everybody got, you know, the girls, the money, right? The trip, like everybody, but like me, I'm not, right? What am I not doing right? Like which road did I turn wrong on that like I'm over here and this person is over there? Like I should be, and then sometimes you get envious, right? Like it's one of those things where like I should be over there too. Why is he over? Like, and then all of these things just start kind of wrapping your mind. But again, so I always think like it's like that backstage stuff that, you know, is probably the toughest. But it makes sense if they've gotten to the point where they're willing to accept to work with you. Yeah. They've at least kind of opened some of the curtains. You may still have to go back in there and look, but they at least opened up the curtains to allow you to look, which I think is, you know, huge for us, just men in general, right? And again, obviously, I don't want to be, you know, I know the ladies in the lunchtime community like, why are you always talking about men? Well, you know, like it just is what it is. I just know us.
Yeah, and let me make something clear for the ladies. If you listen, and I should have said this at the beginning, this message is for everybody. So and I want to make this clear. This message is for everyone. I just work with men. Yes. Let me make that clear. Like this applies to everybody. I don't care who you are, right? All the ladies, apply this stuff. Like this stuff is not just for us. I personally just work with men, but the principles apply to everybody.
So what's next for us, Dr. Brad? Like what can we expect from you? You know, where obviously we want to make sure we drop these details down. Remember, Lunch Learn Community members, everything will be in description. But like, you know, what's next for us, and where can the people find you? Where can the men who may be ready, may be interested to take that next level, next leap? Where can they follow you along with you?
Yeah, next step, man. I've got a coaching program which is really effective, but what I really enjoy is also community. And so one of the things I'm tossing around right now is creating a mastermind that will be a monthly mastermind for a group of men, or either turning my coaching program into a mastermind so that it can be more than just a one-on-one, but that we can turn this thing into a group thing and a rolling monthly thing to where we can all pour into one another. And I organize and kind of facilitate it. I just really like that idea. When there's more people involved, not too many, but when there could be a group of guys, man, some magical things can happen. And so really kind of looking to put that together, possibly for the new year, but we'll see. And then, I'm going to be doing a bunch of speaking, man. I'm just going to, it's my gift. And I just got to.
Listener, community members, especially if you're a podcast, you probably can't see me shaking my head, but like I've been knowing Dr. Brad for
3-4 years now.
Yeah. But and I remember telling him, I said, Dr. Brad, one of the reasons why I need to get you on my podcast is that every time I hear you speak, I'm energized to do something.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear you speak, I've said this before, a lot of my guests, and I tell my guests this all the time, a lot of my guests, I will ghost follow them, right? Just to kind of see what this person is right here. Just to kind of, and every single time I seen Dr. Brad pouring into his community, I said, wow. I walked away like he was talking directly to me.
Yeah.
So when you say I can speak, that I think that's an understatement, right? Like I think being able to not just speak, but be able to provide, right, that level of action-taking energy, right? That's why, like for my speakers, right, I say, can you provide action-taking energy, right?
Yeah.
Like, do I leave your live? Do I leave your YouTube episode? Do I leave your podcast ready to run through some brick wall, right? Like, if that's the case, like that's a person I want to kind of follow. So yeah, when I can 100% vouch for your ability to speak.
Well, man, I appreciate it, and really, what it's really is just an evolution of me being okay with my own voice. I mean, I've got self-limiting beliefs like everybody else, right? But again, it's been the work that I've done consistently to be able to just work on my mind and just, like many of us need to do, is just accept who it is that we were already originally designed to be. And when you double down on that, man, some magical things can happen. So yeah, so between the mastermind and the speaking, a lot of that's going to happen next year. And yeah, man, people can find me on either my website, or they can find me on social media. LinkedIn is probably the easiest place to get in touch with me. I'm on all the platforms at Dr. Brad MD. Like you said, I'm sure a lot of that stuff will be in the notes.
Podcast as well too. Podcast as well. Make sure
that's right. My bad. The podcast. And listen, I tell people, man, you get free game. You get free game on the podcast, man. But yeah, so the podcast is called ELITE PerforMEnce. And yeah, man, we got some hot episodes on there, and yeah, any way that I can help you, reach out to me. You can start having me pour into you on the podcast. And if you're looking for more and you're trying to get to that peak performance and accelerate it, like we talked about before, proximity is everything. So if you're trying to get close to me to increase that peak performance, just reach out to me.
I love it. All right, Lunch Learning community members, again, this is Dr. Brad. This is his then second appearance. Again, second time knocking it out the park, which again, we're not shocked, we're not surprised. Understand that the words that were said during our discussion today is not something that I just want you to like listen to at one ear, say, oh, that was a great episode, and then keep it moving. Like, no, like action needs to occur. Like we're getting towards the tail end of the year. 2022 is here. Obviously, these past couple years with this pandemic has really shifted the way a lot of people think, right? I think a lot of people are more aware of their situation. They're more aware of the time that they're in, that the shoes that they're walking in. They're more aware now because they know at a moment's beat, right? Some virus can come around and shut down the whole world.
Yeah.
So don't allow you to listen to this episode, watch this episode. Don't allow the end of 2021 come through, and in 2022 you're still talking about the same stuff. You're still having the same, mental roadblocks that that won't allow you to start that podcast. That won't allow you, right, to start your YouTube video. That won't allow you to get the coaching you need to get to that next level, because everyone needs to get to that next level. Everyone, right? There's always a next level, and understand that you're not going to get to that next level if you just happen to get paid more. You're not going to get to that next level if you happen to have, more of a material thing. If you're not completely fulfilled, right? Dr. Brad said it, right? Like if you are not fulfilled, you are not successful. Like that just is what it is. If you are not fulfilled, you are not successful. Like that's it, right? Like let's keep it real, right? So again, make sure you follow this brother on all of his social platforms. If you are ready to make that leap, make sure you get that coaching wherever, like even if it's not from him, even if it's not from me, like get the coaching from somewhere.
Go somewhere. That's all. Go talk somebody, bro. I'm just telling you,
Talk to someone, right?
Talk to somebody, man.
All right, let's look at community members again. Thank you again. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.